How was your morning? How are you two?
Good. And especially, we'd like to extend an especially warm welcome to those who found us for the first time. We're so glad you found us. And if you'd like to connect further with our community, there will be a connection card link dropped into the chat box as well. Thanks to Maureen. So this worship service today is brought to you by myself, Maureen Davies, my wife, and Elena Hendricks, our board member. These online services are considered intergenerational, and then we do have some summer religious exploration program meetings in parks that have been happening. Dates and times for those have been in our community calendar. And then want to let you know that on August 29th, we will have an in-person outdoor service. So we did do that once in June, and now we will do that on August 29th. We're going to hold it at Murray Park in Amphitheater number 2, and all of that information will be coming to you via happenings, via our website, etc. But just know that we're looking forward to seeing everyone in person outdoors safely. Murray Park, August 29th, our usual worship time. And if you wanted to bring a picnic lunch to have afterward, we'll be in a pavilion with picnic tables. So there is a lot happening at South Valley, and that Happenings Weekly newsletter that I mentioned is a great way to stay connected. Lori Quigley's email is now being put in the chat box if you want to reach out to her to receive happenings if you don't already receive it. And we are active on Facebook, and we have an event calendar on our website. And now, let us worship. And we start our worship, as do all you congregations, with a chalice lighting. If you have a chalice or a candle that you'd like to light at home, and the words to the chalice lighting will be dropped in the chat box. If you'd like to unmute to say the chalice lighting together, feel free to do that. And I'm going to light my candle now. I have a fan on, so we'll see if this works. There we go. We light this chalice for the warmth of love, for the light of truth, and for the energy of action. Come on.
Good morning.
Up on my legs.
I'm Elena Hendricks, and I am a member of the Board of Trustees here at South Valley Unitarian Universalist Society. My pronouns are she and her. Come, come, whoever you are welcome here. No matter your age, your size, the color of your eyes, your hair, your skin, you are welcome here. No matter your gender, whom you love, how you speak, or whatever your abilities, you are welcome here. You are welcome here, whether you come with laughter in your heart or tears in your eyes, you are welcome here. No matter what you have experienced in the past, no matter what awaits you in the future, you are welcome here. Whether you believe in God all of the time, or some of the time, or none of the time, you are welcome here. This is a community of open minds, loving hearts, and willing hands. You are welcome here at South Valley Unitarian Universalist Society. Today, we consider the important focus we have as Unitarian Universalists on social justice work and celebrate and learn more about those within our denomination who work on issues on our behalf nationally and with us locally. Our opening words are from Reverend Dr. Rebecca Parker, a theologian who served as president of the Unitarian Universalist Starr King School for the Ministry in Berkeley, California, from 1999 to 2014. In that role, she impacted many of our UU ministers and through them, UU congregations, including Reverend Barbara, one of our first ministers of South Valley. Choose to Bless the World by Rebecca Parker. Your gifts, whatever you discover them to be, can be used to bless or curse the world. The mind's power, the strength of the hands, the reaches of the heart, the gift of speaking, listening, imagining, seeing, waiting. Any of these can serve to feed the hungry, bind up wounds, welcome the stranger, praise what is sacred, do the work of justice, or offer love. Any of these can draw down the prison door, hoard bread, abandon the poor, obscure what is holy, comply with injustice, or withhold love. You must answer this question. What will you do with your gifts? Choose to bless the world. The choice to bless the world is more than an act of will, a moving forward into the world with the intention to do good. It is an act of recognition, a confession of surprise, a grateful acknowledgement that in the midst of a broken world, unspeakable beauty, grace, and mystery abide. There is an embrace of kindness that encompasses all life, even yours. And while there is injustice, anesthetization, or evil, there moves a holy disturbance, a benevolent rage, a revolutionary love, protesting, urging, insisting, that which is sacred will not be defiled. Those who bless the world live their life as a gesture of thanks for this beauty and this rage. The choice to bless the world can take you into solitude to search for the sources of power and grace, native wisdom, healing, and liberation. More, the choice will draw you into community, the endeavor shared, the heritage passed on, the companionship of struggle, the importance of keeping faith, the life of ritual, praise, the comfort of human friendship, the company of earth, the chorus of life welcoming you. None of us alone can save the world. Together, that is another possibility waiting.
Let's close our eyes and take in those words beautifully rendered by Elena. Thank you, Elena. Choose to bless the world. Our Side of Love campaign is growing and the UUA is reorganizing under it. I wanted to make sure we all knew about this. I think it's a wonderful move. So the Reverend Ashley Horan, UUA Organizing Strategy Director, wrote the following. UUs are often called the love people. I like that. By our communities who see us out working for justice. From hosting free weddings for LGBTQIA+ people before marriage equality was the law of the land, to taking to the streets as part of the global climate strikes, to opening our sanctuaries to protesters fleeing state violence, to organizing with coalition partners to shut down immigration detention facilities. The love people have been showing up for years to embody our values, take courageous action, and build together as part of broader movements for justice and liberation. Sometimes UUs have shown up holding our congregational banners. Other times it's been at the call of joint UU campaigns like Love Resists or Create Climate Justice. And sometimes we've rallied together through efforts like UU the Vote or in our yellow shirts as a part of Side with Love. For some UUs, it has been confusing to try to understand the relationship between these many different justice campaigns and programs, and I'm one. Too often, the existence of these many brands has made the work seem disjointed. And as a result, we have not been as powerful as we could be. One thing is clear, the world needs UUs to show up for justice as spiritual grounding, generosity, humility, courage, and concrete skills. At various moments, we may be asked to bring these resources to particular struggles, But fundamentally, these are all facets of our shared work for collective liberation. Since its inception, the Side with Love campaign in particular has articulated one of the UU's most cherished values, that it is a spiritual practice to choose love over fear. And I want to say that again. It is our spiritual practice to choose love over fear. The beauty and the power of the Side with Love campaign has always been that invitation to be brave, to show up when we're called, to occupy space with loving resistance rather than fearful retreat. It makes me think of our youth who attended a GA some years ago and went to protest an immigration detention facility and started all of the protesters singing. Our youth did that, to sing with love rather than fear. We are most powerful when we understand that all the issues we care most about are fundamentally interlinked, and each of us has a role to play. And so going forward, we're proud to announce that all the UUA's justice work will be housed under the Side with Love banner, through which we will continue to offer UU's regular opportunities for political education, spiritual sustenance, skills-based trainings, and mobilizations for action. We will be explicitly building on the infrastructure that was developed for UU the Vote in 2020. It was a very successful campaign, UU the Vote 2020. In that vein, we'll also invite UUs into specific work on issue-based campaigns from side to side. So they're planning Side with Love. We'll be encouraging people to hashtag UU the Vote in 2022, to hashtag Create Climate Justice in partnership with the UU Ministry for Earth, and to declare that hashtag Love Resists criminalization, along with our beloved partners at the UU Service Committee. All our prophetic justice work requires us to side with love. And for those who may remember, the Side with Love campaign went through its own metamorphosis, its own learning process, because at the beginning, we called it Standing on the Side of Love, and then realized that that was not inclusive of everyone, that wording. And so I believe we have evolved as UUs, we continue to evolve, and I love that all of our work will now be part of Side with Love. So as we take a moment and as we think of siding with love, let us hold in our thoughts and prayers the people of Haiti, where a 7.2 magnitude earthquake struck yesterday and killed hundreds, with many more injured and missing. Let us hold our healthcare workers, with our ICUs in Utah reported yesterday to be at 102% capacity due to COVID. Let us hold those struggling for life, and let us do what we can to side with love and help truthful information about vaccination get to everyone. And finally, let us hold first responders who are currently working on the Parley's Canyon fire, and the thousands of families who remain evacuated from their homes in the Lambs Canyon area as we speak, just east of our valley. Let us close our eyes and take a moment to side with love. And I'm not seeing everything in the chat box, but I see that we have beloveds that we know who are evacuated right now. This community, our church, and its many ministries are only made possible by the gifts you give of your time and your talent and your treasure. Many of you pledge monthly to support our work, and for this, we're grateful. Your gifts help ensure we're able to do the work within our church and within the community. And we use Breeze for our Sunday offerings, and Maureen has just dropped that link in the chat box. And so if we can take the next few minutes to make an offering on Breeze. Part of our ministry at South Valley is to share this offering with another organization in the community that aligns with our principles and values. And so for July and August, that has been USANA Kids Eat. And we, as a community, have supported that by going and filling backpacks for kids to have something to eat over the weekends with the Boys and Girls Club who distributes those. And we will also be sharing our donations, our Sunday donations last month in this, to that effort as well, to fill those backpacks. So again, that Breeze link is in the chat box. And let us say together the words for our offering. We are this church. We are its hands, its heart, its voice. Together we share the wealth of this community and sustain it with our gifts. And as you are giving your gift, I want to show you this book, The ABCs of Black History, written by Rio Cortez, who is the daughter of our neighbors across the street, Maryland and Santiago, and illustrated by Lauren Semmer. Elena is also an illustrator and knows what goes into the work of illustration. This is a beautiful, beautiful book, well-written, poetic book that gives a wealth of information for adults as well as children. It came out during the pandemic, and Maureen and I used it as a way to learn. I don't know how much you can tell if I hold this a little closer. There are author names on these books in this library pictured on the front. Many, many people's names, some of which we knew, many of which we did not. So right there was many months of looking up authors, reading their work, learning all kinds of Black history, Black viewpoints, beautiful poetry, kids' books, adult reading, all kinds of things, just from the cover of this book. Then, as you go inside, history is not the past, it is the present. We carry our history with us. We are our history. James Baldwin. And so if I skip to E, because it's the alphabet, E is for explore and also for education. And E is for explore, to study a place, like Matthew Henson, the Arctic, made Jemison space. So I don't know if you know those two Black explorers and pioneers, but we were not familiar. So we went and looked up all kinds of information, and it turns out Matthew Henson is really the one that made it possible for Arctic explorations to happen. He connected with the native people, he learned the languages, he learned how to survive, and the white guys just kind of paid the money. But the white guys are who is in the history books. Okay, needs to change. And then E is for expanding the mind, like Ruby Bridges, Linda Brown, the Little Rock Nine. So those are the children that went to the all-white schools and integrated. Lots to learn about them and what they did and what they did with their lives afterward. M is for march and movement and Black Lives Matter. You can see this is an amazing book. S is for scientists and for song. and it goes into specific people that you can learn about. And then in the back is more information about each of these people. And so I encourage all of us, and I believe Rebecca, before she left, got a copy for our library at South Valley. But this is an amazing resource for us all to learn. Yes, and Maureen put in the chat box, L is for love. L is always for love, is what it says in here. And so for our offering, for all we have received and all we have found the courage to give, may we be truly thankful, and may these gifts be a blessing to South Valley and USANA Kids Eat. Come, 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 whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving, ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come. And please sing along with me at home. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving, ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come. This is one of our hymns that we love and use often at South Valley. And it is from the poem written by Rumi in 1207, over 800 years ago. The full translation of which is, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving, it doesn't matter. Ours is not a caravan of despair. Come, even if you have broken your vow 1,000 times. Come, yet again, come, come. And the Reverend Rosemary Bray McNutt, who's the current president of Star King School for the ministry since 2014. She succeeded Reverend Rebecca. She uses a reference to this song and to this poem in an essay, Our Faith. Here's an excerpt. This essential work of justice and liberation for all. By no means are we, Unitarian Universalists, perfect. We often fail as much as we succeed. Yet even when we have broken our vows 1,000 times, we return to this essential work of justice and liberation for all. We do the work best when we remember what church is and what it is not. Church is not a place to hide. It is not the place to get away from the world. It is not a place where we get to pretend that the lives we live and our particular situations are not terribly complex, confusing, and sometimes depressing. Church is the place where we stand with one another, look the world in the eye, attempt to see clearly, and gather strength to face what we see with courage, and yes, with joy. And now we will extinguish our communal chalice. If you'd like to unmute, my fan has already extinguished mine. But let us say the words together. We extinguish this chalice, but not the word of community, the light of truth, or the energy of action. We hold each other in our hearts until we meet again. I'd like to please stay on for 15 minutes or so of socializing together, and we'll go on.